change. At the end of Russell Banks' book, Continental Drift, he has a remark. He says, "Go, little book, and destroy the world as it is." And I think, for me, that's very resonant with how I feel, too. So it's not a substitution for
How
me.
would Mary respond to that same question about power?
Well, I think what I was talking about is that our power from being Native Iowans is recognizing our own selves as something valuable and being just as intelligent, just as bright, to shed this inferiority complex that people dump on us, that we accept. And sit there and nod when people say, you out there in Ames, Iowa, do you know about this stuff? And we all go, oh, yeah. We don't understand that that's a condescension toward us as thinking human beings that have value, that have intelligence.
And I think, power is sort of a male word, but I feel a real sense of strength from other women writing me and saying, I felt this, I really like this this helped me. And I guess that's, in a sense, power, is you're reaching out and you're forming a community with other people who have appreciated your work.
But yeah, the male sense of power is one person's dominating another.
Yeah.
And the female sense of is that we're cooperating, we're making connections, we're helping each other.
Do you all wait till you are always in the mood to write, or sometimes do you write really when you don't want to, or how do you handle that?
You just wait for the muse.
I'm always in the mood.
I'm never in the mood. We've just gone around with this, because Jane would always write than do anything else, and I would always rather do anything else than write. And it's really a struggle to get me to sit down and do it. And then sometimes people will say to me when they read my writing, it's like, oh, you write just like you talk. It's so easy to read your writing. You just must sit down and just go blah, 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 and it all comes out. And I thought, oh, you don't know. So, but yeah, Jane just loves to write.
I would do anything. Well, I would do anything to evade housework. And this has really worked well as an evasion of housework for me.
Well, once Jane and I were on the phone, I said, I got to get these bills paid, and then I can sit down and write. She said, no, Mary, you have the wrong idea. First you sit down and write, and then you pay those bills.
I do everything else first. You should see my house before I sit down and write. Is that a clean kitchen?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Science and engineering is becoming more open to women, so I think the following question is appropriate. It seems there was a time when scientists and engineers wrote more than they do now. It was expected that good scientists would at least be good writers. With that, first, tell me if I'm right or wrong in your opinion. And do you think it's a good idea for scientists, engineers, since we live in a technologically dominated society, to be right?
Take it away, Mary. She moved.
Yes, as an answer to your question. If you can write well, you are going to do better in anything, any endeavor that you're going to do, especially if you're writing well about something technical. And if we as teachers here have seen a lot of bad writing about technical things, and it just makes it so much harder for the people in that field and the lay people to connect with that field. And I think that one of the things, we are living in a technological society. We have to key into the sciences. We have to key into what's going on in agriculture. And if we can communicate that to each other in a clear, direct, clean way, we're so much the better.
Yeah, and I think also, unfortunately, education often obfuscates clear thought, and so and We have specialties and it's jargonized. And so if I have someone in my class who is doing something in agriculture or engineering or some field that I'm not sure about, and I ask kind of like the intelligent layperson's question, you know, well, how does that work? I think it just benefits him or her if he can, you know, explain it in a way that makes, you know, sort of your average smart person on the street understand it. And but you know, a lot of education, a lot of the courses that people take here at ISU, I don't think is helpful to clear writing and clear thought.
I would go even farther than that. I once was asked to propose a course for the Environmental Studies Department in writing about nature. So I proposed a course that began with creation stories and ended with apocalypse stories. And in the middle of the course, there were a lot of exploration narratives. And it was some stuff by John McPhee. It was an interesting course. No one signed up for it. So it died as an experimental course, and I was angry about this. So I wrote a letter to the Daily in which I said that I thought this was a valuable course, and I was disappointed that no one had signed up. And a couple of students in the chemical engineering department wrote and said that no one was interested in what a person from the English department had to say about nature. And these students and students who think like this are people whom I do not want changing my world. This is a serious problem where people approach, uneducated scientists and engineers approach the world as a mechanical object that can be exploited at any time, in any way, for profit. And if they have no sense of how what they're doing fits in a more integrated way, then they will simply destroy our world and us. And these students who were ISU students in good standing had never been given values in their education here that left them open to any kind of approach that was more integrated or less hard or less experimental or less laboratory-oriented than you know, a technocrat approach. And I think this is a scandal, and I think it's at the root of what's wrong in our state and in our country. And it's not merely a matter of writing proficiency, it's a matter of reading, and as Fern says, complex thinking and integrated understanding of what's what and what it means. And I don't think a student can get that taking pure chemical engineering, or even taking, you know, pure English composition courses or pure technical writing courses. It comes from reading a lot of different things.
How about if we have just one more question? It's 1 o'clock. Yeah?
Jane Smiley, what kind of research do you do for your book on bioagriculture farming?
Well, I've sort of thought what I'm going to say to that question is I read the Des Moines Register every morning. But I read a lot of books about agriculture from both sides, from both the isn't it great that we managed to get 177 bushels an acre, and I also read a lot of radical agricultural works by Wes Jackson and Wendell Berry and people like that. I did take the Des Moines Register and read it every day. I always read the agribusiness section because you can understand a lot of how farmers think and talk by listening to what the quotes in the Register are. I drove a combine. I talked to farmers. I talked to farm wives. I read about things like corn, the genetics of corn. And I also, I read plenty of novels about agriculture, as especially early novels like Giants in the Earth, to give myself a sense of how people used to think about the Midwest and about the world. And then, of course, since my book is about King Lear, I read a lot about King Lear and read King Lear 4 times and something like that.
Thank you
all
for coming.
very much.